In the summer of 1969, I was a sophomore in college, and that summer I decided to take a job as a swimming instructor for Hallie Q. Brown Community Center. And the swimming was done on the St. Croix River, which forms the border between Minnesota and Wisconsin, and the camp was like 30 miles down a dirt road through the forest, and we taught swimming to a group of young black kids and a group of Hungarian kids from St. Paul, Minnesota. And that summer, one of the remarkable things was on July 20th, a group of us were looking up at the moon and realizing for the first time ever there were two human beings out there on the moon. And when the camp broke up, the head of the boys' camp, Jim somebody, was going to take a trip out to Boston to pick up his girlfriend. He had a cool red convertible, and he asked me if I wanted to go with him, so I said sure. So we headed out east, and we were going through Indiana and Ohio, and we heard about this thing called Woodstock. There was some kind of music thing, and we didn't know what it was, but we went to Woodstock, New York. It was kind of on the way. But the place was deserted. It was a home of Bob Dylan and all kinds of musicians. But we asked around and found, the concert is really happening at White Plains, New York. So we went over to White Plains, New York, about an hour away or so. And it was a week or so ahead before the concert. And when we got there, we saw them building the fence, and a huge stage was being built. And we walked past the stage, and to the left of the stage and behind it there was a small pond, but there were like 100 people there, all naked, young, beautiful people, skinny dipping and having a great time. And we had never seen anything like that. And after a few moments of just shock, Jim said to me, I'm going to go to Boston and get my girlfriend and come back. And I looked at him and I said, I think I'll stay here. So I did. And they put me to work building the water system. We built fountains and showers and all that. And every afternoon we would have lunch on the hillside. Wavy Gravy and the hog farmers and their psychedelic buses would make us lunch. It was usually a salad with cabbage and carrots and raisins, really good, and we could have as much as we wanted. And but every day more people kept flowing in, and as it got close to the concert, and Jim and his girlfriend made it back, as it got close to the contest, it was clear that the fence was not going to get all built in time, and there were thousands of people already in anyway. So they announced that it was going to be a free concert, which was amazing. And eventually 500,000 people showed up, way more than anybody thought possible. And I remember it starting out, I think it was Richie Havens was the first act, and he came out strumming this acoustic guitar, and it was the first time you really heard the music over the sound system, and it was really great. And there was just one musical act after the other. The stage was on a big turntable so they could set up the next band while the first one was playing. So the music was almost constant, one band day and night. And my favorite part of the whole concert was in the middle of the second night, I think. I made my way up to the front of the stage, and the Who were playing in the middle of the night. And Townsend destroys his guitar at the end of his act and all, and the Who were great. But after that was my favorite band of all time, the Jefferson Airplane, as the sun started coming up. And they were great. I've got a little clip of them. And I really enjoyed them. There was about a 24-hour period where it rained almost constantly, sometimes really hard. So the whole place turned into mud, and everybody got dirty. And at one point I wandered off to find a place to get cleaned up and found a little pond where new people were arriving, and they were kind of modestly trying to get clean with some of their clothes still on. And I showed them the Woodstock way, where you just take all your clothes off and get in the water, and they caught on pretty quickly. there was also artwork going on and all that, but what I really was impressed with is how much sharing there was. Everybody took care of each other. The messages coming from the stage were really beautiful and helped create that spirit of cooperation. And after the concert, it was the fourth morning, I guess, we were walking up through the muddy hillside, and Jimi Hendrix was playing that version of the Star Spangled Banner that kind of became famous. But I had gotten some raw potato that somebody shared with me and ate it. Later, it made me really sick. But there's a couple years later, when the movie Woodstock came out, it was playing in Columbia, Missouri, and myself and some friends, we bought all kinds of popcorn and candy and distributed it to everybody in the theater so we could all share, and got another Woodstock experience out of it. And every once in a while I meet somebody who was at Woodstock. There's an anesthesiologist in Jackson, Mississippi, who showed me a picture of her and her boyfriend wrapped in a blanket at Woodstock that made the cover of New York Times or Time magazine or something. Kind of a famous picture. But anyway, I hope that spirit of Woodstock, of cooperation and sharing, can really catch on and inspire more people, and we can make a culture that's more like that. Thanks.